Good morning, students. Welcome to the subject of Productions and Operations Management. We are dealing with unit number 3, that is facility layout, and we are almost on the verge of completing this unit 2. In the facility layout, we have dealt with many aspects, and those aspects will be able to see it in the next slide to come. As you can see here, there are 1 to 10, that is introduction, meaning, definition, need, scope, objectives, importance, layout, planning, factors influencing, principles of plant layout, layout problems, marks of good layout, and types of layout is the topic that we are dealing since last 2-3 lectures. Because this topic is important, I have been telling you since last 2-3 lectures that it is important from the viewpoint of your examination also, and this is the core of the whole unit. That means what is layout, we all know, and what type of layout options are available to the manufacturer. That is what we are dealing since few lectures, right? We are on almost, as I said, on the verge. It is the 13th point that we are dealing, and there are say as many as 14, 15 and 16 points that are left out. Today we shall be completing the last type of layout that is pending, and maybe the merits, right? In the next by next lecture probably we'll be able to finish with the next 2 points, and that means it will be the end of part unit number 3 also. Thus, let us just revise it one more time, what we have done up till now, and we shall go ahead, right? Thus, plant layout is what? It is an appropriate arrangement of machineries, equipments and other all industrial facilities which are required by the manufacturer to manufacture the goods. What is the main purpose of plant layout? The main purpose is to achieve the fastest, the smoothest production with the minimum cost. This few lines I have been repeating in almost all the lectures since the beginning. This is the 8th lecture we are dealing in the same unit, and from the beginning I have been repeating these few lines. Why so? Because by the end of the chapter or the end of the unit and last video, you should be clear that what is plant layout means. It should quickly strike you that it is nothing but the appropriate and proper arrangement of whatever we are using. It may be machineries, it may be equipments, it may be any industrial facilities that the manufacturer uses for what? For producing the goods, or maybe for creating or generating the services. The main purpose why this is required, why the arrangement of the machinery, facilities or equipment is required, the ultimate purpose is to have the fastest, the smoothest and the cost effective production. That means something which is done at the minimum cost. If you want to achieve this, you need to have the appropriate arrangement of all these things, right? And for that purpose the plant layout is being done. We have discussed, as I told you, various types of we have discussed various types of layout in the previous sessions, and now we shall continue with the further or maybe the last layout, which is known as the combined layout, right? See, these many layouts we have seen. Product layout, we can call it straight line layout also. It may be the next layout, that is process layout, which is more or less the functional layout, the static layout, or we can call it fixed layout. It is cellular layout, or it is known as a GT layout, that means group technology layout. And here we are dealing in this session with the 5th layout, that is combined layout, or it is also well known as hybrid layout. Here as I told you, we'll be going with the advantages and the disadvantages of the combined layout. Now before we start with that, with the advantages, disadvantages, we should be very clear what is combined layout. See, the name is self-explanatory. We can understand very well what is combined layout. Combined means there is a combination of two things or more, right? Okay, so let us see it, how it works. By now we know that the layout is nothing but arranging, placing or grouping the machines for the purpose of production. There cannot be any single type of layout or a setup that can be used for the production of various items. There are multiple items being produced by the manufacturer. At that time, there cannot be a monotonous or a stereotype of layout setup for all the items, and at that point of time you need different designs, you need different styles, you need different options that are available to the manufacturer for the production of goods with the minimum cost. And it also depends, this selection depends upon the type of manufacturing that is being done or the requirement of the goods or services. This is what we have seen since last few lectures, right? Here we are going to study more about combined layout. There are many situations which call for a mixture of the two main layouts types, that is product layout and process layout. This mixtured layout is also known as hybrid layout. See, practically it may so happen that only single type of layout may not work. You may need say on one hand you need the product layout also, and you need the advantages of process layout also, and at that time we can have this combined combination, right? It is generally difficult to find pure process or product layout practically. As I told you, again it may not be possible to have a rigid kind of process layout or maybe the product layout. Then at that time what can be done, the point that can be taken up, or the manufacturer can have the option of having a combined layout. Now under this combined layout, what happens is he combines both the process layout as well as product layout, right? They are both mutually exclusive in nature. We know this, product layout is something different, process layout is something different, but there can be a hybrid type in which we take few of the points or few of the characteristics or advantages from product as well as process. Thus there can be a good combination that can be created to get the benefits of both the types of layout. And when we want to get the benefit of both the types, at that time we may have the selection of this type of layout, which is known as hybrid layout, or it is most commonly known as combined layout. Now this combined layout is developed to expand the production with a motive to use the idle capacity of the product layout. Very, very important point. That is, when this combined layout can be used, when you want to expand production lines or you want to expand production, that means if you are producing 200 units and your say plant has the capacity of producing 300 units, that then at that time these 100 units which are not being produced under one single type of layout, with the help of combined layout, it may so happen, or it may be possible to use the idle capacity, and at that time these type of layouts may be kind of boon to the manufacturer. A combination of process and product layout combines the advantages of both the types of layout. As I told you, a combination layout is possible where an item is being made in different types and sizes. Now when this can be done, when you want to have the combined layout, you need to produce not a single type of goods, but it may be so that you may be producing say different types of goods, right, in different sizes. When there is variation, yes, both the things can be used, because product layout is something which tells you that when there is standardized production, we can use product layout. But when you want to make say variations in the production, at that time process layout is suitable. But when you want to make both, means you want to have the different types also, you want different sizes also, at the same time you want the variations in the goods also, then if you want to get the advantage of this, what kind of best suitable layout is, that is combined layout. Here machinery is arranged in a process layout, but the process grouping is then arranged in a sequence to manufacture various types and sizes of products. Here what is done, now how this combined layout works, in the next slides to come we'll be seeing with the diagram also, but as of now what we need to understand is how these works. Then machinery are arranged in a form of process layout. What is the say speciality of process layout, that we group together all those types of machines which produce the similar types of goods, or that means similar functioning machines are grouped together, and that is why it is known as functional layout, if you remember, right? So the layout is placed in a form of process layout, but how the process goes on, it goes in a sequence. Sequence is the characteristic of product layout. This is how both the things are being merged together, and at the end what we have is said to be combined layout. It is to be noted that the sequence of the operations remain the same with the variety of products and sizes. That means the sequence does not change, right? The sequence of the operation remains the same whatever variety of goods you produce, right? There may be variation, but the sequence does not change. When you can make such a kind of arrangement, the combined layout is the best option for us, right? When that means, I repeat one more time how the combined layout works. That means there is arrangement of the machines according to process layout, whereas it functions like a product layout. That means the sequence is also maintained, and all the machines performing same type of goods are grouped together. This is how it works. Generally, it is developed where this type of layout can be used: when product layout is used for main product and process layout is used for byproducts or joint products. See, product layout means where product is important, where the sequence is important. Then at that time, the product layout can be used for main product. For byproducts, that means sub products or the products coming out of the main product, for them you can have the arrangement of process layout. So in both the cases, main product is also produced, the byproducts are also produced. When you want to get the advantage of both this, at that time we can have the combined layout. This can be explained with the example that is given in the next slide. Now before going to next slide, let me just clear it out. What is combined layout? This is the fifth important type of layout after we have seen the four types there. At the end of the lecture, I'll be repeating those four layouts in brief, so that we can have a clear-cut idea as far as the types, because by the end of this lecture we are completing the types of layout then, right? So here, when the combined layout can be used. Combined layout can be used when you want to produce something in bulk also. At the same time, you want to produce the different of the variations also, and in different sizes also when you want to produce. When you want to have all these things done, moreover, when you want to have the main product produced with the byproducts, then both the types of layout can be used. That means the arrangement of the machinery can be done according to process layout, and the functioning is taken up with the help of product layout. Process layout is what? Process layout is where the same type of functioning elements or maybe machineries are kept in the group. And what is product layout? The sequence is important. That means from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 and likewise. Now when you want to have the advantages of both these types, at that time the combined layout is the best suitable option for us. Now if this much is clear, we can understand this well with the help of the diagram that is there, the next. See, if you see this diagram, the horizontal line on the top tells us that it goes from left to right. That means A to B to C to D. What does that indicate? That indicates product layout, right? Whereas if you see the downfalling line, that means that tells you about the process layout. How process layout? If you just try to identify it, see, that is why I have used the simple alphabets there. Whatever the squares or the rectangles that we can see there, they are all suggesting the type of machines, right? And the alphabets are different from each other in the sequence. Why? Because it tells you the sequence A, B, C, D. That tells you about the product layout. That means the fall is there from sequence A, then to B, to C and D and likewise. Whereas if we see the downward falling diagram, that means we can see here very clearly that it is A, B, 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 C, C and D, D. What does that tells us? That means of A type of machines there are 2 machines, B type of machines there are 3 machines, C type of machines there are 2, and D type of machines they are available in the quantity of 2. That means the arrangement is according to process layout. Same functioning machines are kept together. A, B, C, and D. That means the whole diagram tells us very clearly that the vertical line gives us the idea that it is also a process layout, and the horizontal line falling from, say, left to right, that tells us that it is also a product layout, right? This is how the diagram simply tells us, simply gives us the idea that how the combined layout works in the organization. All right, now we'll just try to see few of the advantages and disadvantages here of the combined layout, as we have been doing for the rest of the layouts, and then we shall take up with the next topic. All right, here what are the advantages? Number one, there can be optimum use of resources. That means all the resources, whether it is man, whether it is machines, whether it is, say, materials, whatever type of resources we are using, that can be used to its best. That is the biggest advantage of the combined layout. See, if we go back and try to understand the related point with the diagram here, that means, see, if you see here, none of the machine is idle. A, B, C, D, it goes with raw material falling from A to B to C to D, and at the end we have the finished product. Even the similar type of goods may be produced, say number B good can be, or number X is produced in one section, say Y is getting produced in the second section. Likewise, whatever the utilization of the resources can be done, that can be done best under this, and that's the biggest advantage, that nothing remains idle here. You can easily utilize whatever is with the unit. It may be raw materials, it may be machines, it may be manpower. We can make all of them to use, perfect use, when it comes to combined layout. So it is the biggest advantage of a combined layout as a identified or as a separate layout there. Now, if we try to see the second point, and all the advantages of product and process layout can be availed naturally, because it's a combination. See, many a times it's not only product and process layout that comes as a combined layout or hybrid layout. Instead, there can be static layout also, which can be used in the combination. What is static layout? Static layout is anything that in wherein the product does not change, but the rest of the things keep on revolving around it. That means everything else keeps on moving, but the product remains at a fixed position. When such a kind of arrangement is done, say in the case of aircraft, we have seen it, right? In the case of building, or in the case of, say, a construction of a bridge, these are considered to be the types of static layout. In static layout, there can be process layout also, there can be a combination of product layout also, and in that sense it is a combined layout, right, where you want to make the maximum out of the resources available to you. તમારે મેક્સિમમ વાપરવું છે, ઓપ્ટિમમ યુટિલાઇઝેશન કરવું છે, અને તમારી પાસે મલ્ટિપલ પ્રોડક્ટ બનાવવાની તક પણ છે. એટ ધ સેમ ટાઈમ યુ વોન્ટ ટુ હેવ ધ વેરિએશન એઝ વેલ એઝ ધી બલ્ક પ્રોડક્શન ઓલ્સો. Then in that case it is the combined layout that is best suitable, right? So here in the second advantage, it can be seen that when you are using both the type of layout, that means exclusively whatever the advantages of product layouts are available, they are also available for the process layout also. And when you combine both this, that means it's a merger. When you have the merger, that means exclusively they are different, at the same time they are providing us with the merged kind of advantages as well as disadvantages of both the types. Anyways, as far as the disadvantages are concerned, we shall go to the next part, that it is time consuming naturally, because here we want to make use of everything that is available. Moreover, the arrangement is according to process layout, and the fall of goods is according to product layout. So in that sense it becomes a little complex also. So it is time consuming to have the setup of all these things done, and that is why it's a process wherein you require a lot of buffer time, you require a lot of such kind of timings in which you have enough space to work out. So it is a time consuming process, right? Number 2 is investment requirement is high. Naturally, you are making use of all the resources. You want to have all the machines run at the same time. So at that time, whatever the investment may be there in the static product, say it may be installed machines, you may have to have more investment there, right? On the other hand, because you want to keep on moving the machines all the time, say 8 hours or 24 by 7, then at that time we need that much of stock also, we need a little bit of more of inventories also. So again the investment is higher. Talk about manpower. Definitely manpower we need for the process layout also and product layout also. It cannot be all the time automated, say manufacturing of the goods. Then you need people also. All these requires a high requirement of investment. That means money power is there, only then the combined layout is suitable, or it may be a wrong calculation by the manufacturer. The third one is more space is required in this type of layout. Yes, very very important, because with the limited space you can't have the arrangement of both these things done. If you remember the chart there, let me go back to the chart. See here, there is quite a lot of space that is required, because here all the machines that functions of us that is of similar functions, they are to be placed together. That means again the space is required, and moreover you are adding one more characteristic to it, that the sequence is also to be followed. That means product layout is also to be taken up, so that also requires a lot of space. You need the in between space of the machines, you require the in between space in the process layout also, so that you can have a kind of arrangement in such a manner that both the things work out very easily, right? So in that case you require a quite lot of space, or else you will not be able to perform, right? So that is said to be the third disadvantage. But what is important are the last few lines in this slide. But we must not forget that whatever are the advantages of product and process layout can be availed in the combined layout. Yes, that is the reason, that is the point why hybrid layout is opted by the manufacturer. Because if I am a manufacturer, if I want to have the multiple products produced, if I want to have variations in the goods, at the same time I want to make the use of all the resources available, my product is such which is a kind of product oriented also and process oriented also, then at that time combined is the best layout say situation for me. But for that I need all those, I have to see check out with all the disadvantages. At the same time I am going to avail the advantages of both, means list of advantages of product layout is also available and process layout is also available to me, right? So if we check out now, here are the merits, here are the advantages. If we say that it's a combined layout, advantages are available of both the types, then what type of advantages are available, what are the merits of this combined layout, right? Or maybe the merits of product layout and process layout. So this is 14th point that we are dealing. So it is the arrangement of the machines in one line depending on the sequence of the operation. What is important in the first point, first advantage that we get, it is the sequence we can follow, though it is a combined layout, right? Number 2, what is the next advantage or merit of product layout? Mechanization of material handling and consequent reduction in material handling cost. That means we can have the mechanization done, we can use the conveyor belts, we can use all those machines, maybe electronic trolleys that can be used, right, for material handling. And what happens is, with that we can reduce the material handling cost. That's the second advantage of product layout. Third one is bottlenecks can be avoided. If you remember, when we come to the product layout and its diagram, then it is entry from one side and exit from the other side. If you remember, before a couple of lectures I had given the explanation of product layout and I took up a the example of car wash, right? That means if a car is entering for the car wash, then the entry gate may be different and the exit one is different, and then what happens is one by one it goes for wash, it goes for soap wash, it goes for rinse, goes for the manual rinse, and likewise. That means one by one the process goes on, and the other side it's the exit gate for it. So hardly we can see any kind of congestion as far as product layout is concerned. All these advantages are available. Why are we studying here? Because all these advantages are available to the combined layout also. So now if we go to the fourth one, what is the fourth one? Better production control in work progress. Yes, every time you can check whatever the work is being done, we can check it very easily. Moreover, in the product layout, what is the speciality? The raw material falls at the beginning, and then when it comes out at the end, it is the perfect finished goods. So hardly you require any kind of say personal inspection. On the contrary, the production control is automatic and everything falls very easily, right? These are the four advantages in this slide of product layout. If we shift our view from product layout to process layout, on the right side we can see 5 different advantages. Now what are they? Let us study them. Mind you that this is again very important from your examination point of view, because product layout and process layout in one or the other ways, maybe in the form of long question or maybe in the form of short questions or short answers, it is short notes, it is being asked to you. So if you are clear with the concept, if you know how it works, if you know the advantages, you can write the answer very well with the perfect diagram also, right? So please go through the video lectures properly to understand the whole concept there. All right, number one here, it involves a grouping together of the like in one department. That means like machines in one department. What is the speciality of process layout? Same functioning machines are in the same group, right? Next is reduction in the investment of the machines as they are general purpose machines. Very important. There is reduction. We hardly have anything which can be say which are not which the machines are not of a specific type or specialized machines. There are more or less generalized machines, so investment comes little bit down. So if you are using a combined layout, this is one of the advantage of process layout that we can get. Again, as compared to product layout, if we are using the process layout in combined layout, then we can have the flexibility. That means there is rigidity of sequence of production layout on one side, and there can be flexibility of the processes in the process layout also. Next, better scope of expansion. Whenever you want to use the machines, you can use it. Its capacity can be maximum or optimally utilized. So there is expansion scope. Again, there is better utilization of machines and men. Whatever you are using, whatever you are employing, you can make the best out of it, and in that sense it is the best utilization of man and machines that can be done. Here we are moving towards the next slide, giving the rest of the advantages. If we continue with the product layout, there fifth one is less floor area required per unit of the production. That means whatever the floor is there, whatever the required or available area is there, we can make the arrangement in sequence and we can use the floor to its maximum, or less floor is utilized. Sixth is minimum investment in work in progress, because one by one the flow is there and there are hardly any chances for work in progress, or there is idle inventory on the way of production. So in that sense it is minimum investment is required. You don't have to keep the surplus amount of inventories there, because in work in progress you don't have to wait. The flow of the production goes on easily. Next, there can be early detection of mistakes. That means if mistakes are committed, we can on beforehand we can make out the mistakes and we can identify it, and we can also see that they are not being repeated. Eighth one is greater incentives to the group of workers to raise their performance can be given. A group of workers, if they are working together, then the group incentives can be provided very easily. On the other hand, if we go to process layout, there is full utilization of plant. As we know, similar machines which are grouped together, they all perform. So there is use of plant, greater incentives of the workers to increase their performance. Individual worker working at the different machines with different skills can be provided with the greater incentives. And eighth is easy to handle breakdown of machines, because if anything goes wrong, then we can easily mend it and we can bring it. But on the other hand, this can be disadvantage for product layout, because if one machine goes wrong, or if there is any kind of breakdown in say third machine, then for the fourth machine you can't carry forward the raw materials or semi finished goods. So in that sense, it is the say drawback for product layout, but it is the advantage for the process layout. So likewise, what we are trying to say here, or we have seen these points earlier also, why I have tried to relate here, that is whatever the merits we get from the product layout plus the process layout, because we are combining both this type of layout in hybrid layout, all these 16, 17, and it depends, they are not universal. That means it may happen that few of the advantages are available and few may not be available to an individual to an individual manufacturer. It depends completely, but more or less he'll be able to take the advantage of both the types of processes. So here we are getting an end to, or we are coming to an end of this particular session. But before that, I would like to repeat one more time to you that up till now, since last 3-4 sessions, we have been discussing only the types. There are as many as 5 types. Now what are these types? Types are the options. Types of layout are the options, or maybe the styles of layout available to the manufacturer. He can select any out of these 5. These 5 are generally commonly used kind of layouts. There can be specific type of layout, but we are not discussing the same. Here we are talking about the generalized type of layout, and in the generalized type of layout, he may be available with 5 different choices. It may be the product layout, or we call it straight line layout. It may be the process layout, or we call it functional layout. It may be static layout, or it may be fixed position layout, right? Or it may be cellular layout, or it is known as technique layout, right? Group technique layout. So and the fifth one is combined layout that we have discussed today. What is important in product layout? Product plays very important role, and sequence word you have to remember. In process layout, the function plays very important role, the process plays very important role. What is the speciality of this type of layout? Similar functioning machines are kept together. The third one is static layout or fixed layout, in which the product does not move. In the rest of the things, in the rest of the say layout, the product moves from one machine to the another one and to the next, and likewise. But here, when we are talking about the static layout, what is its speciality? The product does not move. Instead, whatever the services are there, whatever the people, the material, the machines, the equipments, facilities, whatever you require, it moves around that particular product, right? And that is why it is known as fixed position layout also, or it may be also known as static layout. And the last and the fifth option available to the manufacturer is that of the combined layout, wherein he can combine more than 2 types, and he can come up with altogether a new style of say layout, which helps him to have the perfect layout for his product, and his requirements are fulfilled very easily. At that time, he uses the combined layout. Combined layout has its own speciality. Generally, when the combined layout word is used, it is always that product layout plus the process layout is combined together, and there is a specific type of layout wherein there is arrangement is according to the product layout process layout, and the fall of the product from one to another. That means the sequence is being maintained as we do it in the product layout. So, and moreover, he gets the best advantage of both these types of layout. When he does this, it is the combined layout that is selected by him. So here we are coming up to an end of types of layout also, and we have seen the merits of both the types of layout which we generally combine. So that's the end to the eighth part of unit number 3, that is facility layout. When we meet next, we shall be dealing with the rest of the 2 points. By that time, take care of yourselves, and please, students, repeat the video lectures wherever required. Try to listen it properly. I know it's purely theoretical subject, but you have to keep your pencil and a book with you, so that ultimately at the end of every video lecture you should be clear that what you have learned here, right? I keep on repeating, I keep on relating with each video lecture with the previous one, but if the sequence is not followed, say, and that is why for your convenience I have even divided into different parts. Like first unit was of 5 parts, that means 5 video lecture you go through, then your first unit gets over, right? Second unit was, I think, as many as 9 parts, and the third unit will also be almost of 9 parts. That means you have to go one by one. If you go with the sequence, then you can relate it with the content that is given at the beginning. So I don't delete those slides, I keep those slides before you, so that you can come to know that at which point we are and what we are dealing. But in that case, at the end of the sessions, you should be clear that we have dealt with this many points, and in written also, and in your mind also, the concept should be very clear, because then you'll be able to relate with the forward video lectures that will be seeing it. All right, for now it's goodbye from my side. We shall soon meet with the new part and new concept. Thank you.